April 2021, Johannesburg, South Africa. Imagine waking up one morning to find that your entire life savings have vanished. Not stolen from your bank account. Not lost in a bad investment. Simply gone. This nightmare became reality for thousands of investors across Africa when they opened their emails to find a chilling message from Africrypt, one of the continent's most trusted cryptocurrency platforms. The message was brief, but devastating. We've been hacked. All funds are gone. 69,000 bitcoins worth $4 billion have disappeared. But here's where the story gets truly sinister. The company's founders, two brothers named Ameer and Raees Cajee, had one specific request for their panicked investors. Don't contact the police. Don't hire lawyers. Trust us to handle this quietly, or you'll never see your money again. At that exact moment, the Cajee brothers were already thousands of miles away, their private jets slicing through international airspace, heading toward a destination unknown. This is the story of how two young entrepreneurs orchestrated one of the most audacious financial crimes in cryptocurrency history and vanished without a trace, taking $4 billion of other people's money with them. 2019, Johannesburg, South Africa. Meet Ameer and Raees Cajee, young, charismatic, and hungry for success. These brothers weren't your typical entrepreneurs. They had something bigger in mind, something that would make them legends in South Africa's rapidly growing tech scene. They launched Africrypt with a pitch that sounded almost too good to be true, an AI-powered cryptocurrency trading platform that could generate consistent, massive profits. Their promise? A staggering 10% return per day. Do the math. That means doubling your investment in less than a month. In a country where cryptocurrency was exploding in popularity, and everyone wanted their piece of the digital gold rush, this offer was irresistible. The wealthy elite of South Africa couldn't invest fast enough. South African rapper Nasty C became one of their most vocal promoters, flooding his social media with enthusiastic endorsements. "This is the biggest investment opportunity of our generation," he told his millions of followers. "Don't miss out." Football legend Benny McCarthy, one of South Africa's most celebrated athletes, poured a portion of his hard-earned fortune into the platform. Actress Charlize Theron, known for her financial savvy, allocated part of her wealth to what seemed like a revolutionary investment vehicle. Even members of South Africa's ruling ANC party began quietly investing, seeing Africrypt as the future of African finance. The Cajee brothers became overnight sensations. Their Instagram feeds transformed into a highlight reel of obscene wealth. Lamborghini Aventadors, Rolls-Royce Ghosts, Ferraris that cost more than most people's houses. They purchased sprawling mansions in Johannesburg's most exclusive neighborhoods. They were photographed at VIP parties, featured in financial magazines, and hailed as the visionary leaders of Africa's financial revolution. To the outside world, they were living proof that cryptocurrency could create generational wealth. But behind the champagne toasts and luxury cars, a very different reality was unfolding. Here's what was really happening at Africrypt. Absolutely nothing. There was no AI. There were no sophisticated trading algorithms. There were no automated strategies generating those promised 10% daily returns. Every Bitcoin that investors deposited simply accumulated in cryptocurrency wallets controlled entirely by the Cajee brothers. When early investors received their payouts and bragged about their returns, they had no idea they were being paid with money from newer investors. It was the oldest trick in the financial crime playbook, a classic Ponzi scheme dressed up in blockchain technology and artificial intelligence buzzwords. Every single day, hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin flowed into Africrypt's accounts. To maintain the illusion of legitimacy, the brothers launched increasingly aggressive marketing campaigns. They announced plans to create Africa's first crypto bank. They teased the launch of Africoin, their own cryptocurrency that would supposedly rival Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the brothers knew something their investors didn't. Ponzi schemes have an expiration date. The moment clients start withdrawing more money than new investors are depositing, the entire house of cards collapses. So they began planning their exit strategy. The Cajees weren't amateurs. They knew they couldn't simply shut down the platform and disappear. Investors would immediately demand their money back, and authorities would launch an investigation within hours. They needed something more sophisticated, a narrative that would buy them time and misdirect attention. First, they quietly began transferring massive amounts of Bitcoin out of Africrypt's main wallets. These weren't direct transfers to exchanges where they could be easily tracked. Instead, the bitcoins were routed through mixers, specialized services that shuffle cryptocurrency through thousands of different wallets, making the trail almost impossible to follow. From there, portions were converted into stablecoins. Other portions were transferred into Monero, one of the most anonymous cryptocurrencies in existence, designed specifically to be untraceable. Second, they needed a safe haven. Several months before their planned disappearance, the brothers quietly acquired citizenship in Vanuatu, a tiny island nation in the Pacific Ocean with extremely favorable policies for people like them. Vanuatu doesn't extradite its citizens, doesn't track financial transactions, and offers visa-free access to 130 countries. Third, they crafted their cover story, a massive hack. It was brilliant in its simplicity. By blaming external hackers, they could position themselves as victims alongside their investors. Now they just needed to choose the perfect moment to execute their plan. Investors logged into Africrypt that morning, expecting to check their balances as usual. But something was wrong. Transactions were freezing. Withdrawal requests weren't processing. At first, many assumed it was a temporary technical glitch, but as hours passed, panic began to set in. Then came the official announcement. Africrypt has suffered a devastating hacker attack. All assets, 69,000 bitcoins worth $4 billion, have been stolen. We urge all investors not to contact police or legal authorities, as this could jeopardize our recovery efforts. Instead of providing reassurance, this message triggered mass hysteria. Investors immediately tried calling customer support, but every phone number that once answered within seconds now rang endlessly. The Africrypt website went dark. When some investors drove to the company's supposed headquarters, the high-tech financial center they'd imagined, they found only a small, ordinary residential house. No servers, no staff, no signs of any actual technology company. Those familiar with blockchain technology began analyzing the transaction history, and what they discovered was damning. In the weeks leading up to the hack, massive amounts of Bitcoin had been systematically moved out of Africrypt's wallets. The transactions started small but grew larger and larger as the scam's endgame approached. The money hadn't been hacked. It had been methodically stolen by the very people who'd promised to protect it. Investigators also discovered something else chilling. In the week before the announcement, every Africrypt employee with access to the financial systems suddenly lost their login credentials. One by one, they were locked out without explanation. Only the Cajee brothers retained full control. Defrauded investors immediately contacted South African police, who launched an official investigation, but they quickly hit a wall. According to passport control records, the Cajee brothers had never officially left the country. There were no airline tickets, no border crossing records, no paper trail whatsoever. They had simply vanished. Honeycomb attorneys representing hundreds of victims filed formal complaints demanding immediate action and the return of stolen funds. The case quickly attracted international attention. Interpol officially placed both brothers on their wanted list. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered the brothers' Vanuatu citizenship, the key to their escape plan. But even knowing this didn't help locate them. Were they hiding in Dubai, one of the world's largest financial hubs where cryptocurrency flows freely in the shadow economy? Tanzania, historically a refuge for financial criminals, the United Kingdom under false identities? Nobody knew. Nobody had seen them. It was as if they'd evaporated into thin air. In 2023, Swiss investigators made a startling discovery in a Zurich bank, a safe deposit box containing a hardware crypto wallet. Could this hold part of Africrypt's stolen billions? The problem was simple. Without the encryption key, the wallet was completely inaccessible. Whether it even belonged to the Cajee brothers remained pure speculation. Investors desperate to recover their life savings found themselves trapped in an impossible situation. Despite the efforts of international law enforcement agencies, no concrete evidence of the brothers' whereabouts emerged. By 2024, the South African Financial Sector Conduct Authority delivered the final blow. Since Africrypt was never registered as a licensed financial institution, the government has no legal grounds to pursue investigation or recovery. In other words, there would be no accountability, no justice, no recovery of funds. The Cajee brothers had pulled off the perfect crime. As of today, Ameer and Raees Cajee remain at large. $4 billion in Bitcoin, money that belonged to thousands of hardworking people, has vanished into the digital void. Some of those investors lost their life savings. Others lost their children's education funds or their retirement security. The Africrypt case exposed a terrifying truth about cryptocurrency. In the Wild West of digital finance, there are very few safeguards protecting ordinary people from sophisticated scammers. The question that haunts everyone: will the Cajee brothers ever face justice? Or have they successfully disappeared forever, living luxurious lives somewhere in the world on money they stole from trusting investors? This is Arrowvoid, and we bring you the stories that expose the dark underbelly of our digital world. If this story shocked you, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We dive deep into the world's most fascinating true crime cases, financial scandals, and mysteries that authorities don't want you to know about. Drop a comment below. Do you think the Cajee brothers will ever be caught? Or have they pulled off the perfect crime? Let's discuss. And remember, in the world of cryptocurrency, if something sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay safe.